Hey everyone, this is Josh back with Cardboard Chronicles. In this episode, I'm interviewing Justin, aka Charger21 Sports Cards on Instagram. Justin collects Chargers cards, LeBron James, Devin Booker, RG3, and really anything that catches his eye. He's got a really sick collection, lots of cool stuff. In this episode, we're going to talk about how he's focused recently on consolidating some of his collection just to what he actually loves, and how he's moving into more LeBron cards for his future. And we also talk about some of the Zion craze that's been going on recently and other fun topics, so stay tuned. And don't forget to check out howtocollectcards.com, a website I created dedicated to helping collectors of all skill levels build their collections. Feeling like you just don't know where to begin, you don't know what all these different things mean within the hobby, I've created this dictionary and I'm giving it away completely free. It has over 120 terms, all the terms that you need to know to get started collecting cards. We're also offering an advanced training course that is comprised of 17 different parts, everything from learning what cards you should be focused on buying for yourself, what cards are worth, where to buy the cards, when to buy cards to save yourself the most money, how to avoid different mistakes within the hobby that a lot of people make. It's just got everything that you need to be successful collecting cards, so please check that out. We've also got a bunch of new bonus content, and any new content that I create for the training course gets added for free. So if you've bought the course already, you're going to get all that new content, and it's free for life. I'm going to keep adding stuff to it. There's always going to be new content helping everyone. So please check it out. It's really extensive. It's got tons of great information. I think it's going to bring a lot of value to a lot of people. Hey Justin, what's going on, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, good man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Appreciate
of
it.
course. Thanks for joining. So why don't you start us off? Tell us a bit about yourself and also your background in the hobby.
Okay. So I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 in about 2 weeks. Born in Perth, Australia, Western Australia. Moved to America when I was 30 years old. When I was just traveling actually. It was the second time I traveled to America. And then when I was in New York City, I met my now wife, and we lived there for about 2 years, and then we moved to Philly. She's from Philly. I lived in Philly for 5 years, and now I'm in Austin, Texas. And yeah, I'm a carpenter by trade, but currently part-time stay-at-home dad, part-time carpenter, part-time working in a brewery, and also still playing a bit of music, which as I go on, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But anyway, that's about it for now. So life's good.
So why don't you jump in and tell us about what got you started in the hobby, where you're at now with it?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so basically, like, I remember being about 10 years old, and my brother, who's 2 years older than me, we were getting into basketball, the Australian Basketball League. I think it was around like the early 90s. It was starting to really take off. Probably just because in America, like getting the coverage, we're getting more coverage from America, the NBA and stuff, and because of Jordan, I guess. And so I remember one day we went to the local sneaker shop, and they had these basketball cards from the NBA, and I remember my brother really wanted to get some packs, and we got some packs. I think it was 91, 92 hoops, and I remember he pulled the Jordan out of a pack, just the Jordan base card, and we were just blown away. That was just awesome, So I don't know if we ever put the set together, but I remember my mom and dad would take us and would buy them, and there was probably like $1 for a packet then. It wasn't that bad at all. So my parents would be happy to buy us, 5, 6 packs at a time. Anyway, and then I guess like the dream team in 92, I remember watching those Olympics. And I think the whole of Australia and probably the whole world actually, basketball just really took off and exploded. And I remember kids at my school, and I'm not just saying this, like me and my brother were probably the first ones at my primary school, which is like elementary school in Australia, that had cards and binders and stuff. And then within like a month after the Olympics, like everyone was buying cards. Everyone at my school. I'm not joking. Like literally every kid in my class had like a binder and, just files of just full of cards. And it was mayhem, man. And there were shops popping up actually This would have been like 1993. I remember it was like the Shaq rookie year. I remember there was 1 or 2 shops in the city. And then within like a year, there was probably like 15 to 20 shops in Perth alone. And Perth is like a really isolated, small city of Australia compared to Sydney and Melbourne anyway. And yeah, it was just madness, man. And we loved it. Like, we loved the trading at school. And, I remember kids even getting in fights over cards. It was nuts. And, these were like the junk wax cards, cards that were only worth like 10, 20 bucks or something, so. But that's where it all started, man. And then I sort of remember it dying about like 1995, 96. It just all kind of died. Like, it spiked and then it just crashed. And there was, I think it went back to only 2 shops, and they're still there today, actually, in Perth. But it just, I think because of the major production, obviously the junk wax, and just, I think people were starting to think it was a bit of a scam, because like people were saying, oh, cards are worth money. And then like cards, no one wanted to buy those cards because there was so many of them. So it kind of died out. And then as I grew older, I think when I was about 16, I sort of got into music, and I started playing in bands, and I played in bands for about till I was 30 actually. And I didn't buy like 1 packet of cards, literally, because everyone I knew, we all sort of got out of it. And I think I was just growing up, and, girls, parties, it all took over. Like, I didn't really care. I mean, I loved watching games and sports, but the whole collecting thing wasn't really a thing anymore. So yeah, it sort of went to that place for like 15 years. And I had a great time doing what I did with the music. That was my passion that took over. And then I got to America, I think the second time when I came here, which was when I met my wife. We were living in New York City, and I remember, I think it was the middle of winter, and New York and Philly can be pretty cool in the winter, especially from Australia. And I found a card shop down near Wall Street. I don't even know if it's there anymore. And I went in, and I sort of was like, wow, cards, this is pretty cool. So I bought a box of cards, because I never ever as a kid got a box of cards ever at once. I never was able to buy a whole box, and it was like a dream, it was a nostalgia thing. And I think that's why a lot of us older guys sort of get into it, is the nostalgia. And I bought this box of cards, and I think it was just like Panini. This was 2012. So it was a Panini box, and I think it was only $100 or something. And I remember opening it, and I was kind of like, oh, wow, this is cool. Things have changed a lot. There was like a couple of numbered cards in there, and, a couple of autos. Like, when I was collecting back in the 90s, I don't think there was any autos in the stuff I was buying. So it was really interesting, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I really didn't know, what anything was worth. And I remember pulling a Draymond Green auto in that box, and I put it away for like a couple of years. And when I first got it, I was like, oh, who the hell is this guy? Draymond Green, the hell? And then, yeah, like 2 years later, I remember going through a box, and I'm like, oh, wow, I've got a Draymond Green rookie auto. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it was kind of from 2012 to about 2015. I wasn't really that deep into it. I was just buying like the odd box here and there just for fun, and just hoping to get a player that I liked, or something cool. And then when my kids were born, which I have twins that are 4.5, nearly 5, I remember they were born in winter. Very long, cold winters in Philly, and especially when you have newborns, you tend to spend a lot of time at home and inside. And I was getting more and more into cards. I just was on my computer. I was watching breaks. I was going in breaks. I was looking at YouTube videos of people just ripping cards and collections and whatever. And yeah, about 2016, I was right into it around then. And since then, I've been pretty full on in it. And, I've assumed like a decent collection that I'm pretty happy with, and learned a lot actually, like I know you've got that, how to buy cards and that, it does take time to really understand, like markets and, just even on eBay, like little abbreviations and things, so I feel like right now I'm at a pretty good spot, man. So yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Why don't
Yep.
you transition and show us what you got and kind of give us a taste for what's in your PC and what you got?
Yeah, cool. So I know some of you probably know already, and some of you probably don't. Is my Instagram is Charger21, which the story behind that is people always ask me like, why do you go for the Chargers? Because I'm Australian, and in 2009, the first time I came to America, just as a tourist, I did the whole West Coast. So I went to California, um, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, um, and Nevada. And while I was there, I really wanted to watch a football game because I'd seen it on TV and I thought it was just awesome. But obviously in Australia, we play basketball, but we don't play football. So I thought it'd be really cool to go to a football game. And the only game I could get to was a Chargers game, which I'm glad it was the Chargers because San Diego is my favorite city in America that I've been to anyway. And they were playing at home, and they were 13-3 that year, so they had a really good team. Tomlinson was still playing, who was number 21, and Hall of Famer and everything. And I just decided to go for the Chargers. Hence, when I started my Instagram page back in 2015 or whenever it was, I just needed something, so I went with Charger21. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to show you a couple cards, and these are just cards that I really love and appreciate. So I've got this one first. It's a Pop 1, so PSA Pop 1, PSA 10, Joey Bosa, RPA, which he's one of my favorite players because, like, in football, I really appreciate defense, So I think defensive players go very undervalued, especially, like, the really good ones, So that one's pretty cool.
That's a good looking card.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Like, the patch is really cool with the lightning bolt piece. This is a card I got recently, which I was looking for ages, which I just love because it's like early Prism Gold, and it's Keenan Allen, who I think is an absolute stud, and it's PSA 10, which is cool. But the funny thing is they messed up on they put Gopple, which I mean, it doesn't annoy me that much, but I'm like, okay, Gopple Prism, okay. So I've got that one there.
That's my favorite year of Prism. That one right there is awesome.
Yeah, well, it's like in the basketball, like the Giannis rookie year,
Yeah.
And I think the golds look amazing from that year. But here's another Keenan Allen, which I really like, and it's a sticker auto, but it's a 101 rookie, and it's like the Shield 9/5/10, which as a Chargers fan, like these cards are really cool, So, and then I got two cards here, which I'm maybe thinking about moving, but I'm also maybe not thinking about moving. It's a weird one, you know how it is sometimes. And the reason why is because I've only been a Chargers fan for 10 years. So this guy wasn't actually playing since I've been a fan, but I know he was definitely a legit player. But I got the Junior Seau PMG green, which is a Pop 8, it's the only one graded by PSA. So, I mean, some people, how it is with these 90s cards, people go, what's a PSA 8? It's not that cool. Like, and I'm like, dude, look at the pop reports. Pretty much every PMG is an 8 or less. Like, if you find a 9 of a PMG green or red, like, that's really, really good. You're not finding no 10. So that's a Pop 1, and this is a Pop 1 too, which I got graded recently, but that's Junior Seau, which is another PMG from, I think it's 99. Which I think looks pretty cool. They say that the PSA slabs, things just pop a lot better too, when you're looking at the cards. And just a couple of Phil Rivers, he's my guy. I love Rivers. He's been playing since I've been supporting him, and I think he's really underrated and undervalued as well. So, but I've got just one of his rookie refractors, which I love those cards. They're awesome. Which that's not numbered. That's just the base. But then there's this one here, which is from the same year and the same set. There's only 100 of these, but it's kind of like just a little insert. It's one of my favorite cards. Just, the chrome refractors, they just look awesome. And just like one of his rookie tickets, which is one of my favorite cards, which I think I got this for about $50 maybe.
Wow. About
4 years ago. And I think these ones, I know it's an 8.5, but I think the last one sold around $600 or $700. So for an 8.5.
Nice. Yeah.
So, it was a pretty cool pickup. But then I also have, this is a card I think you'll like because I know you like this stuff. It's Jerry Rice PMG Championship, which it's not really, because it's in the Beckett slab, it's not really coming up that good. But yeah, that's the 50, and I really like those. I think I was talking to you at the National. I think these are the best looking PMGs. I think.
Yep, agreed.
One last football card which I have to share is I have like a PC of Robert Griffin III, which most of it's in a binder because it's only $5 cards. But I picked this up recently, which was a card that when I got back into the hobby in 2012, he was all the rage, and this card to me was like the card. And I picked this up recently, which it's the Cracked Ice of RG3, which, it's one of those things like to flippers and that, they're probably like, whatever. But to me, like, this is a card that I was looking for years. And when I was looking for it, this card was about $3 or $4 grand, and I got this for $195 the other. Yeah. So I got it. Not only did I get it, and it has the nostalgia, but I got it for such a good price that I love it, man. It's awesome. So anyway, that's enough of the football. I got this one baseball card, and the reason I'm going to share this is that living in Austin, I've been to Round Rock Express, which is the minor league team for the Astros. And this year I got to see this guy play quite a bit up there. I went to a few games, and he's actually like pretty much in the running for the Rookie of the Year. So he's been hitting heaps of home runs and everything. Yordan Alvarez, I know some of the baseball guys definitely know who he is, but this is a pretty cool card, which I picked up before he actually got into the majors. So I got it for a good deal, but he's, I've seen him play. I think, when you see someone play, it definitely makes you like really get more into them. Like I've seen LeBron play. I saw Kobe play. I've seen, quite a few guys now. I didn't get to see Jordan, unfortunately, but that's still cool. But yeah, like when I saw Kobe play actually in 2009, he hit the game-winning shot over Dwayne Wade actually at the Staples Center, which after that game, I was just like massive Kobe fan. But the funny thing is right now, I only own literally one good card of his. And I got this recently too. It's just a gold select, which I thought looked pretty cool to 10. I've had a lot of Kobe stuff over the years, and for some reason I'd sold it and I always regret it. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I regret it. But this one I know you'll like. This is, when I was a kid, this was my guy. So this is Zoe, PMG Red, number 14 of 100. So this is a pretty cool card. Only really good Zoe I have as well. And I feel like Zoe's one of those guys who came out in the wrong era, like Shaq, where, there's a lot of his cards were mass produced. So it's kind of like they're not very desirable as a collector. But that PMG Red is cool. And now I'm going to show you this card. This is a card I got from my friend John, who's a massive Devin Booker fan. And he's from Kentucky as well, which is where he went to college. But we did a deal with this. And this is probably my favorite card in my collection. Or maybe, I don't know. My LeBrons are pretty good, but I like this one as well.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's an RPA out of 99. It's a 910. Yeah, it's a sweet card that, I think the guy is an offensive weapon. I just hope, his defense, he can pick it up a bit on the D. But, I've seen him play as well. Actually, I saw him play in Philly when I was living there. He dropped 46, and the Suns beat the Sixers, and they were rubbish. But he put 46 up. So, you know what I mean? Like, you see these guys play, and you see him put up a good game like that, and you're like, oh, wow, cool. This guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And I got 3 left, which are all LeBrons, which I showed you this one I got at the National, which I'm really happy with. And it's like it's an old label too, which I looked it up. I think it was graded in 2005. So, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
These have gone up a bit as well in the last couple of months, I've noticed. This one I got recently, which I think looks really cool, like the design. As you know, I know you've had one or maybe a few of these. I don't know. But, I really like that one, which is number 250. And this one here is probably my second favorite card, or tied with the Booker, which is, I bought this card for about $500, man. And I just love it. It's LeBron game-used jersey. and on-card auto, and the auto is just like as bold can be. And it graded a 7.5, which the label kind of annoyed me a bit. Not that I'm big on grades, but I just got I got them to switch it to authentic. I just thought it looked better. So that's probably my favorite card in my collection, which, like I said, I got it for a good deal. And it's number 6 as well, number 6 of 50, which
Nice.
kind of hopefully he goes back to that next year. So yeah, that's basically my best stuff that I have right now. Yeah.
One thing that I love about cards is like when I look at someone else's collection, I can know a lot more about you. You know, you can like figure out what people like, and I can know like where you've lived almost, and like
Yeah.
you watch over the years just by looking at your collection. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, like I told you, I'm trying to compact my collection so I don't become a hoarder. So I do have a whole lot of other stuff in my office, but these are the best ones, I think, and the ones that I'll probably roll with for a while. But I just find like I love the hobby and all, but sometimes you look at your stash and you've just got piles of stuff, and you're thinking, do I really need this? Maybe I can consolidate all this stuff and put it into something really nice, just one really nice card that you want to get. So that's one of my plans with my future, is to just try and keep it down to keep it simple. And especially like my wife, she's happy with me collecting, but it's more, don't become a hoarder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy to do it. I'm not saying to anyone out there, that they're bad for doing it, because it can become easy. You buy a few boxes and all that, but yeah, that's the game plan anyway.
Yeah, so let's jump into that. That's kind of what jumped me into wanting to talk to you tonight, is just the consolidation topic. It's been kind of on my mind a lot as well, and I've seen other people doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
what kind of stuff are you looking to sell out, and what kind of stuff are you looking to jump into?
Yeah, well, I think going to the national was really cool. I've been before, actually. I went in 2016 to Atlantic City because I was living in Philly, and it's super close. I didn't even have to stay anywhere overnight. It's only an hour drive. And when I went in 2016, I went with my brother, and I honestly didn't have a clue what I was doing, man. I just went there, and I was happy to be there, but I was buying like all kinds of stuff, this, that, boom, boom, boom. Like, I didn't even take anything to trade, and I didn't really know anyone. But going this year, after meeting a lot of the guys from the internet and chatting with people, and just seeing how some guys their collections and whatever, I realized like how much I've changed with things, and just trying to keep focused, and identifying more like iconic stuff rather than buying like a totally certified sticker auto of someone. I know what I want now with my collection, and my main focus from here on out is probably going to be more LeBron James, and just because the obvious reasons, being obviously a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Three titles, 4 MVPs. And I've seen him play, and I've always liked LeBron, and I feel like going to LA, like, I don't know, with AD, and if they can keep healthy, that's the key, obviously. But you never know, they might have a chance to win another ring. But I just find like with LeBron, I never buy anything of LeBron, even if it's a base card. I never buy it and regret it. Like, it's not like, oh, what did I spend that money on that for? I feel like he's the one guy that I always can buy anything, and I'm like, cool, because I've even got a binder of his stuff. I just put in his low end stuff. So that's my future. And even like the Charger stuff, like I will still collect Charger stuff, but more just players that, I've seen the Chargers play like 10 times actually, and they've only lost once, and it was in overtime. So they've given me a lot of good memories, but it's more like Keenan Allen, Phil Rivers, the guys that have played since I've seen him play, so I'll just keep focusing on that as well. But mainly like LeBron and his rookie stuff, I think, is the future for me. But more just, rather than having, 500 LeBron cards, I'd rather have one really, really good card, So that's my future focus with it. So,
That's the most interesting part to me of what you're talking about is, I think in cards, the stigma is that people kind of have a lot of them, and it's usually like when you hear about cards, you kind of picture people with piles or closets full of cards.
Yeah.
And now the trend is kind of moving towards having fewer pieces, and
Yeah.
guys like you and me are even finding that our happiness goes up by having fewer, better cards.
Yeah.
Just talk about that a little more.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I've found is, I literally, and this is no joke, Devin Booker, I've got one auto of him. LeBron James, I have one auto. I don't have more than two autos of any player because I just don't, to me personally, and this is not a dig at anyone, like you can collect whoever you want, you can have as many autos of whoever, but for me personally, I just find it that I don't need to have 40 autographs of one player. I'd rather just get like, even that Keenan Allen, it was a sticker auto, but it's like an NFL Shield rookie 1-1. Like, I'd rather have that card than 40 other Keenan Allen autos, you know what I mean? Because a rookie Shield 1-1 is, to me, like, there's not much better than that. There's a few better, but there's not a lot better. So that's the way I think. And I mean, there's guys out there that I know I see who have like huge collections. And I mean, I'd love to have 50 Michael Jordan autos. I mean, that would be fantastic. Obviously, I can't afford it, but just where I'm at, everyone's different. I've got kids, I don't have endless cash. So I have to just prioritize and make sure, I can have fun with the hobby and, have a LeBron auto on card and enjoy it. But, like, I never think, wow, I need more, because it's just where I'm at right now, where with kids and everything. Like, you can have the hobby, but just keep it to where you can handle it, That's the main thing for me. And I know in the past there was a time probably 3 years ago where I had so much stuff. Like, I had so much, and my wife was like, hey man, like, you got a lot of stuff in here. Do you really need it? And I was kind of like, I don't actually really need this. So I ended up selling a lot of stuff. Some of it I do, like I said, I regret, because it was like Kobe and stuff. But, right now, like I said, I'm sort of back in a place where I'm pretty happy, with what I have. And, it's kind of like stuff that I know that it's more like I was saying, having a personal connection, going to see LeBron or going to a Chargers game, and just, I'd rather have stuff of players that I've seen as well, rather than, just because someone's the rookie of the year or whatever. I'd rather have a LeBron or something, or a Phil Rivers or whatever, just having that personal thing with it, So then 30, 40 years down the road, if I still have this stuff, I'll always go, oh, I remember seeing Phil Rivers play, for the Chargers. Like, so that's the way I think about it anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot of collectors out there that I've encountered that feel like, um, they've built up certain cards, or maybe they collect a certain player, and then they feel almost guilty selling some of that stuff. And
Yeah.
I really wanted to bring you on and hear from you and just get like your perspective on why you're doing it. And to me, it makes total sense. And, you can't like question someone else, and everyone has their reasons. And
Yeah.
I
Well, the
think
thing is, the way that I see like value in cards is, obviously we want to have collections that are desirable by other people, because then if you want to get rid of it, you can get something back for it. But at the same time, like, if I know a lot of guys out there that are really good with it too, where they, if I remember like that Nat Turner guy who has like the most insane stuff, you know, you kind of want to. I'm at a point now where when I was getting back in the hobby, like didn't know what I was doing, I was, like I said, buying whatever, and I was just buying, and it was just stacking up of whoever I thought was going to be good 10 years from now, someone who's a rookie, whatever. But I feel like now, for me as a collector, it's got to be a card that I know that, if all this hobby goes down the drain, or not fully down the drain, but if it collapses, like, will I still be happy with this, like, will I still appreciate this? And I think I will, it's that, to me, is what I like about my collection, is I've got just stuff that I think, no matter what happens with the hobby, LeBron James will always be LeBron James. I'll always be a Chargers fan. I can live with that. So that's the way of my thinking right now. I think it comes in time. Some people, from day one know what they want to do. They know to collect Kobe or Shaq or Jordan or whoever. me, it was a little different. I was just kind of, you know, an Aussie in America, sort of like, wow, cool cards. This is cool. It's like a cool hobby to, you know, keep me busy in the winters in Philadelphia in my basement. But now it's more like it's compacted and I'm trying to get more focused, you know.
For
So
sure.
that's,
Well,
yeah,
well said, man. I don't have anything to add. That was really well said.
yeah.
Uh, so speaking of rookies of the year and kind of like going to the other end of this, what do you think about the Zion hype and craze and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. I've talked to a few people about this. I honestly, I remember seeing Zion videos like 3 years ago on Instagram or something, YouTube, and I thought, wow, this kid looks insane. You know, he's playing against kids that are probably 50 to 100 pounds lighter, maybe like a foot shorter, and he's just doing these monster dunks. And then I saw him in college, and he looks good, you know. But I just feel like right now, I mean, I'm sort of staying away from the Xeon hype just because of the prices of all this stuff. I think it's very high, especially for the college stuff. I think, you know, once the pro uniform stuff comes out, especially like National Treasures, Prism, that college stuff, I think is going to go down unless he, you know, comes out and he's just killing it every night. But I think he's a great player, and I really want him to do well. But in terms of hobby, I just think it'd be great to pull a Xeon card in a pack. You know, if you just bought like a box or a pack and you get a Xeon auto, that's fantastic. But right now, I think, you know, you can buy a lot of cool LeBron stuff and Michael Jordan. You could buy some Jordan autos, you know, for less than some of these Xeon cards. So to me, that just doesn't really make any sense at all. Not right now, anyway. Maybe in a couple of years, I'll be, you know, eating my words. But right now, I just think from a investment point of view, like, you know, it might become like a really, really good investment, but it's a big, at those prices, it's a big, big gamble, you know? So that's the way I see it.
Do you think that Panini's going to overprint his stuff?
Uh, I do, man. And the sad thing is, you know, box prices are going to be more than they ever have, you know? So, you know, just for a box of Prism, I don't even know what it's going to be, but I remember being at the 2016 National and I bought a case of Prism Hobby 15-16, and it was $500 from Dave and Adams for 12 boxes. $500 for a case, you know, which I'd already bought some before that for around the same, I think for $550 or something, but they had a special at the National, and, you know, no one really cared too much about Prism, especially not 15-16, because the prices were so low for boxes, and it was great because, you know, you could buy a box for $50 or whatever, $60, and, you know, like, you weren't too disheartened about anything. It was just a lot of fun, you know, ripping that. But now, I mean, Prism's what, 300 for a box, and I feel like they're going to be even more this year. They're probably $400 for a box. I don't know. Who knows? It might be more. It might be less. But, you know, the whole Xeon thing is going to really change, not just collecting, but busting. You know, buying even individual packs. Like, if you want to buy just a couple of packs of something, you know, you're going to have to pay extra. And if you don't hit Xeon, I mean, there's some good rookies this year. I think it's a good class, but time's going to tell, you know. No one knows anything right now. And to me, that's what's kind of crazy about it all.
Yeah. So you're not loading up on potatoes?
Nah, nah. I might buy, like, I don't know, one of his school used pencils or something. That'll be cool.
For those that don't know, there was like a Zion Williamson potato on eBay, and it just had like letters Z and W on it. Someone was making a joke, but the bidding went up really high.
Yeah, I did see that. I think someone put it on Blowout, and then I went to the link, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I mean, like, this is nothing obviously to do with Zion, and I really hope he fulfills like his talent, because he's got enormous potential. But just, you know, like, we haven't seen 1 minute of NBA yet, so we'll see what happens. You know, maybe he's gonna be the superstar, the next LeBron or whoever. You know, and
Yeah, there's definitely
people
two
will be,
sides. There.
you know, people will be happy with it. You know, with their investments. So hey, let's see what happens, eh?
Yeah, I definitely think there's two sides. One being the hobby side that I'm staying away from, and then the like realistic,
Yeah.
him as an NBA player needing to grow as a rookie and like get better little by little. It's a little bit we're pushing it too fast on him on the hobby side.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think, people just need to be patient as well. I always watch my friend Jimmy Mahan, Kentucky basketball cards. I always watch his videos on Instagram. And, that guy, I know he's probably got a bigger budget than most of us, and his collection is incredible. But, he has a lot of good advice too. I mean, he hasn't just got that collection just from, just jumping in and throwing his money into. He always says, like, just be patient. If you want a card, be patient and wait. Maybe like down the track, you'll be able to get it for a lot less than, right now. Especially, I remember, I think it was he was talking about Xeon and, just how pricey it is. And he was saying, like, people just be patient with this product, because once the NBA stuff, official NBA product comes out, that's going to fully just take over. And, right now things are pretty high, like very high. So I think people should be patient, see what happens. Hopefully we all end up getting the right end of it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
So I got two questions to finish it up. First one is pretty generic, but what's your favorite thing about the hobby?
My favorite thing is, it's funny because initially when I got back into it in 2012, I had a Facebook account, but I still do, but I don't do any dealing on there with cards. Like all the dealings I do is either eBay or Instagram or Blowout. And I wasn't on Blowout. I had no Instagram. But over time, I think the best part of it, which was like at the National this year, a couple months ago, was just the interaction I have with some of the people I've met are really cool people. And just, we're all on the same level. Like we all understand, what we're into, it's kind of like, people who are into like Star Wars are like, they're on the same level, and they're on, it's their thing, it's their passion and their love. But yeah, mainly just, I think obviously cards are great. I do like buying boxes and, ripping packs every now and then. I get that urge, and a lot of the time I lose. But if, hitting a really good card is really cool. It's probably the best thing. But I just think like the friends I've made as well, like at the National was the first time I'd met a lot of people that I'd known for years, So my friend Brad Beeman, B Sports, who me and him were in break rooms 4-5 years ago. And we used to chat all the time, and we were hanging out all day at the National every day, him and his son, and to meet him and, Kiki and like Kentucky, Jimmy Mahan, like Kentucky basketball cards, like he sent me packages before of just Chargers cards, like $400 cards. He would just ship them to my house without even telling me what it is. Just stuff like that. I'm just like, what? Like, that's pretty cool, But, just meaning like everyone was just great, yourself, RBI crew, which I met them at the last National, but Ryan and all the guys at his tables, like they're just super friendly people, and they have the passion. Some of the dealers there are a bit more like, money. It's, it's very money driven, but some of the people, you honestly feel like they just enjoy the hobby and their heart's in the right place with it. And it's, yeah, they've got some high-end collections, but it's not really about the cash. It's more about just what they like and just, interacting with each other every day on social media, So that's probably my favorite part, because I spend a lot of time on social media. So, I'd have to say that's the best part, just messaging people and, just sharing stuff. That's cool.
For sure. Couldn't
Yep.
agree more on that one. And the opposite, what's something that you think can be improved? I don't want to say what's your least favorite, because I want to phrase it in a way we come up with a solution. But what's something
Yeah.
you think can be improved?
I think improvement could come, well, with the whole recent thing with like trimming and the grading stuff, obviously grading. I think the grading companies, they go through so much stuff, and I don't want to say that, they're useless or anything, because, I mean, they're going through so many cards every day. I think it's probably got to a point where maybe they're trying to work too fast and they're not catching up on stuff. So I think grading definitely needs to be improved because, you can't be having all those cards being that badly altered. And, there's guys on Blowout that are just finding out all the information themselves, which, they're not even detectives, or not that we know that they might be, but you know what I mean? They're just everyday guys who are finding all this out, So I think, grading is such a big part of the hobby, and everyone's, some people would like swear by like, oh, I've got PSA 10s, I've got gem mints, and it's like, well, okay, that's cool. But, if the grading companies can't pick up alteration or trimming, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, like it just takes a lot of credibility away from like just the whole thing of grading and collections. So I'm sure that, most cards out there are good, but, that's one of them. Another one is prices of boxes and packs. These days it's got to a really, like I said, $50 boxes of Prism only 3 or 4 years ago. And now people are just, we have to pay, like, it's all good if you go on a break and you buy like a team. I mean, even some of the breaks, if you buy like the Mavericks this year with Doncic, it's like a $600 spot. And just, you better hit if you're paying that money to get in a break, you better hit something. So I just think the prices of wax is getting really crazy. And it's taken fun out of it because I do like buying boxes and, just opening packs, but it's getting real crazy, man. It is, so anyone who's been around for a while, I'm sure there's guys who've been around longer than me, but, they'd say the same thing. I think the two things are the grading and the prices of wax and packs and stuff. I think they're just getting a little crazy.
Yeah, especially for guys like you that treat boxes and packs as just the fun side, right? You're not looking to make money or, flip it
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, like the last couple of years, I've been buying a lot of retail, and I know retail, you can't get a lot of the good hits in that, but, like retail is still the same, like blaster boxes and that have been the same price for years. And, it's fun. It's accessible. I have one shop here in Austin, which is really cool. Kenny's Collectibles, that I go to, and he's a really great guy. And he's always saying like, he's trying to keep everything as low as he can for everyone because he needs to stay in business. But, it's really hurting, card shops. And I like going to card shops because, just going in there and interacting with people, like I said, who have the same interests. And, it's real interaction. It's not online buying a box off David Adams. Don't get me wrong, I like David Adams. They have good deals. But, going into a shop, buying a box, interacting with the owner, talking cards and that's really cool to me. So I really, I think I'm hoping, with this Xeon craze, we can still buy a box or two and have fun,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. This is a great chat. Thanks for the advice on the consolidation and some of the Zion stuff. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for having me. And, like I said, it's not, I'm no expert, but it's just how I feel. And I just, I think at the end of the day, just have fun and, with spending and breaking, just if you do it within your means, everyone has a different life and everyone's got different positions and how much they can handle of it. So, just focus and do what you can, That's my only advice I could give.
Well, let's end it there then, man. Perfect. Well said. All right. Thanks a
Cool.
lot.
Thanks, buddy.
See ya.
Cheers, man.